and Shane Subudi, along with my good buddy, the Honorable Jeff. And we haven't done one of these in quite a while. I've been busy with work. Jeff's been busy with work. We haven't had the additional time to devote. Sometimes we haven't had our usual time to devote to our regular shows. So, but welcome tonight. Today's just kind of a special episode where we're just going to kind of spitball about a topic. We're not talking about like a special TV show or a movie or anything like that. But there's been some things going on in the world of video games, specifically that I kind of have seen like a lot of negative stuff going on, and I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? So I just wanted to talk to Jeff about it, just kind of vent how I've been feeling like reading these people's comments. And it's not even like gamers facing off against other gamers in a game. It's just like for instance, I was really excited about the announcement of the 30th anniversary of Mario. I don't know if you were, Jeff, or not, but I mean, there was a big announcement, like all these things that were coming out, and one of them, the first one that came out, so I think September 21st, and that was the Super Mario 3D All Stars. It has Super Mario Sunshine on it, along with Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxy. Some of the best games in the history of the franchise, along with Sunshine. And there were people that first of all, originally there was announced that those games would be coming out in a package, maybe with a few other ones, but definitely with Super Mario Galaxy 2. And people are like, were just bitching that Super Mario Galaxy 2 wasn't on there, which I can understand. I mean, it's generally considered to be a top 10, a 10 out of 10 game, a 5-star game, whatever, and possibly the greatest game in the Mario franchise. But if you think about it, if it's the greatest game in the history of the Mario franchise, why would they package it like this? Why wouldn't they have it as a separate release down the road? And not only that, but then people like got the game and like hacked it to see, oh, it's made with emulators. They didn't even build it from the ground up. Did they fucking say they're going to build it from the ground up? No. They said you're going to get to play these games remastered.
Yeah,
So it's just like and why as a gamer do you care whether it's emulator or built from the ground up? Seriously.
I get irritated all the time because I'm a big Call of Duty fan. I've been playing it for,
Nah.
I've been playing it for almost 15 years now. I've done multiplayer and all that stuff, and now
Stop.
people have gotten so obsessed with the things that are coming up that they'll literally wait until it gets released on personal computer, and then they data mine everything to find out what files they put in there, and then they're disappointed when those files don't actually come up. And it drives me insane every week there's new leaks on, oh, what's going to come out in this game. Why can't you just sit back, enjoy the game, and when it comes out, and be happy about it?
Yeah, enjoy the game, have fun playing it. That's the point of video games, right? Is to have fun playing the video game,
Yeah,
not to hack into what the data is and decide like how they made it. And then you have then you have these news sites reporting it like it's actual news too. Is the
right,
other thing.
exactly.
It's like it's not news. And what would be news to me is investigations of why people are upset about it. I mean,
My
I mean to me, you got these great games you can now play on the Switch. If you missed it if you had a 64, you missed it, or you didn't get them when they were on GameCube or Wii. GameCube is one of the worst selling video game systems of all time. But and you didn't, so you never got a chance to play Super Mario Sunshine because you didn't get it on that system.
right.
Or I mean, you had a Wii and played Super Mario Galaxy. Now 15 years later, you want to play it again. And any of those things are possible. So I don't see why people are like trying to ruin the fun for other gamers. I
Well,
really
and
don't get it.
like there's a lot of Nintendo games back in the day that I wanted to play, but I was not going to go buy a retro system just to buy or you don't buy an original Nintendo that I know is a piece of crap anyway. 20 years later, just to buy those games when I may or may not be able to play it. I waited until they re-released them, and I don't care if it's an emulator or not. What does it matter? I get to play the games. So
Exactly.
I get where you're coming from on that, and but it's the same. I think it's gotten to a point where people like, um, I I don't know if it's society or if it's just or if it's a gaming thing or competition or what, but you see it a lot in these multiplayer games like Fortnite and Call of Duty is another really big one, and there's so many other ones that are have these multiplayers, and you end up getting cheaters on there, people that purchase hacks and or PC gamers that will actually hack the system so that they can play better. What's the point? When did it become such a competition that you can't just have fun?
Probably when EA and other companies started putting microtransactions in there so that people could pay thousands of dollars to be better than other players at video games.
That's a good point, and that's all over mobile gaming and everything like that. So it just I don't understand. I've never understood that competitive nature. Like I'm not gonna lie. Occasionally I have bought certain things here and there, but it's just to get different content, not to make myself better. I'm not gonna pay a bunch of money so that I can get better things than what everybody else has. I pay because I think the content's cool and I have a little extra money, so I throw it down. But I will never understand that how everybody's got to how people have to cheat and develop hacks and uh, I don't know. It's maddening. I kind of see where you're coming from though about the whole bitching about it, whether it's an emulator or not, and it's like just enjoy the damn game. That's why games were developed was to enjoy them at home.
Exactly. You're supposed to enjoy them at home, not hack into them, not I mean, I wouldn't care about the source code, much less, you know, well, first of all, I wouldn't know how to read it, so I guess that's one thing.
Right.
But secondly, I mean, why would I even care? Why, I mean, you're spending time hacking a game instead of just, playing games. How much time do these people have that they can hack into games and see how it's programmed rather than actually like playing all the millions of games that are out there to play?
It's funny because and I'm not going to name any names or anything like that, but I follow a pretty popular game on Facebook. I'm a part of their homepage and or their their personal page, and it's funny how people will get on there and brag about their accomplishments, and then there's a million people after that that are like pointing out the fact that obviously you bought those accomplishments because like here's one game you had to get to level 100, but there was no way to get to level with 100 without actually having something else that was even higher. And there, it's you get to level 100, but uh, the free season, whatever, he's at level 100 on the free season, but only like level 95 on his actual experience. And people that play it religiously that know it know that you have to be like a level 150 on experience before you can get to level 100, and this guy's got it at 95 and he takes a nice picture of it, posts it on bragging that he already beat it, and then you get a million people calling him out that he paid for it. Now first of all, I don't give a shit that he paid for it. That's on him. That's what he wants to do. He wants to take the easy way out and not actually work for it. Fine, whatever. My whole issue is the fact that he actually bragged about doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't. The whole gaming community has just been lost on me lately.
Yeah, because like you're saying, like he's kind of set himself up to be criticized like that by posting it like that.
Right, exactly.
I was that kind of reminds me of I was you probably remember this like over the summer I was
I think you just got muted. Either that or I lost you, one or the other.
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
That's weird. You probably remember this like over the summer I was playing this game called Poker Heat,
Oh yeah.
and I was trying to get all these chips, and I had sent you an invite, and I sent Melissa an invite, and I was trying to get over this like 7 day period. I was trying to get all these contests where I had to get all these different fireworks. Actually, it's Fourth of July, so I was trying to get all these fireworks for their Independence Day bash, and if I got enough fireworks each day out of those 7 days, I would have gotten 65 million chips. And I did. I actually, the last day, like I barely made it, so I got the 65 million chips, but they actually gave me 80 million instead for whatever reason. I told you that.
Yeah.
And then like a few days later, I had someone tell me like you've only got one ring. There's no way you have 80 million chips. You're a cheater. You're a cheating hacker. And I'm like, no, I earned these. And she's like, yeah, sure you did. You scumbag. And I was like, no, I did the Independence Day bash. And she's like, whatever, you douchebag. It's like, dude, I didn't say I earned it over months of playing like other people did, but I mean, I did work my ass off over that 7 days to get it.
Right.
My hand was cramping, my eyes were swimming, but I was still like determined to get that 65 million chips. So I did earn it. And I wasn't going around bragging about it, but I mean, it was just bugged me that somebody just accused me of cheating for no reason,
Yeah,
you know?
I don't get that. I don't get that at all. And the other people too, when you actually have an accomplishment, something that you're proud of, and you prove it and you show, hey, look what I did. And then like if you share it on one of these communities on Facebook or something like that, you've got a ton of other people telling you how trash you are because they accomplished that like 6 months ago.
Right.
It just I don't get it. And like I said, as a microcosm of the just society in general, is it just what is it? What causes people to act like that? What causes I mean, I get competitive nature and not wanting to lose, but to completely trash other people's enjoyment of something just because you're better than they are, it blows my mind. I will never understand that.
And are you actually better than they are, or did you just actually have other games that you
More
weren't
time.
playing, and
Yeah.
and you had the time to play it then, or you had the money to buy the game when it first came out, and maybe somebody didn't? Because I mean, I mean, I shouldn't say I never do, but I rarely, very rarely will buy a video game new anymore, just because I can usually get it on sale a couple months later,
Right.
and have this exact same experience. And I'm not a social media guy, as all of our followers know.
Right.
So I don't need to make sure that I'm keeping up with the same experience as everybody else does. It is on social media and is posting about it, which I think has become a big driver on a lot of that stuff. I mean, and so I mean, to me, it doesn't really matter to me when I play a game. I'm still going to play a game eventually.
Yeah,
You know,
and for me, there's certain games that I'll buy brand new, like opening day, sometimes pre-orders, simply because I'm a big online guy. I like to play multiplayer. I like to play online games. So it's, like Madden 2020. When that game had a pre-order, I got some free stuff for ordering a couple weeks ahead of time, and I did that. But, occasionally I'll do that, but I'm right there with you too. If it's a game that I'm not planning on playing online, a game that I just want to play the campaign or whatever, I'll buy it 3, 4, 5 months, sometimes years later, just to play it.
yeah, exactly. Because what does it matter like when other people played it or when they beat it versus when you beat it, or how many game hours it took you to beat something.
Right.
That's the other thing I look at that. I'm like, I see like reviews. It's like 30 game hours. And I'm like, it's already taken me like 45. So
Yeah, you're saying 30 game hours. I've been playing this son bitch for like 2.5 years.
yeah.
But yeah,
Uh,
I mean, and I'll admit it. Some people are actually really, really good at video games. Some people are really good at just their reaction times and things are better than mine. And I'm not gonna uh, cry a river because of that, but I'm also not going to trash somebody because my reaction time was better than theirs.
right.
You know,
And that, or that you were able to beat a game quicker because you had more time to kill.
oh,
I mean,
yeah, I
I mean,
didn't.
I mean, you've got kids, and you've got work that takes away a lot of your time, like especially this time of the year. So I mean, and I have, and my same thing with my work. So I mean, it's not like I have billions of hours to devote to video game play. I
And
mean, there's people that are just dying for these new games to come out, and I'm like, dude, I've got 30 games in my queue I haven't even touched yet.
right. And then I've got, when I do get, some game time later in the afternoon or something, I got a kid that wants to play his game. So I'm stuck playing a game that I don't want to necessarily play, just to play games so I can play with him. So I like this week, like I said before, I'm a big Call of Duty fan. I play a lot of Modern Warfare, a lot of it online. Well, this week I have my son. My son's really into video games. So when I turn on my gaming system, he wants to play Lego Batman or, Lego Undercover or, Lego City Undercover or something, some Lego game or some
Hey,
Minecraft or
hey man,
something
hey
he
man,
wants
don't
to
don't
play.
even front on the Lego
Oh,
games.
I love the Lego games. I play them all, own them all. What's not on PS Now, I actually own.
Right.
So, I love the Lego games. I'll play them all day long. But when it comes time for it and I want to play Call of Duty, a lot of times I can't because my kid wants to play Minecraft.
And that
Or,
and that kind of like that kind of like leads me into another topic I wanted to talk about with this video game stuff is um I'm a bit salty, honestly, and maybe I have a reason to be, maybe I don't, but I'm a bit salty that one of the launch, not even a launch title, but one of the titles coming out for the PS5 is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Just because it was my favorite video game franchise of all time, and we got one title, one on
right,
PS4, and it was a remake of the first game. And now people that buy a PS5 are getting a brand new Ratchet and Clank game, and it's not coming out on PS4. So I mean, I'm sure eventually at some point I'll probably buy a PS5 and I will play that game. But here's the thing I don't get. is you've got other titles like Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. You've got the new Spider-Man Miles Morales game, and a few and other ones that are coming out for the PS5. And the people that are buying a PS5 are salty because it's also coming out on PS4. Why the fuck do they care? Seriously. When other people can play the same game as you just on a different system and you're going to be bitching about it, I don't fucking get it.
It's the same thing with it's funny because I'll see these like battles between people, and it's Xbox or PlayStation. They're the same game. I mean, unless you're buying, like, I bought PlayStation back in the day for some exclusive PlayStation games, stuff you couldn't get on Xbox, and vice versa. You couldn't get Halo on Xbox. When Mass Effect originally came out, you couldn't get that on Xbox on PlayStation. You could only get that on Xbox, so I had an Xbox for those games. And vice versa. There's like Rainbow Six, and I guess I can't say Rainbow Six, but there have been like Drake's. I think Drake's is a PS exclusive, isn't it? A Sony exclusive. Ratchet and Clank is a Sony exclusive. There's certain games you
Oh,
just
when you say Drake's, you mean Uncharted?
yeah.
Yeah, Uncharted is a Sony exclusive. Horizon Zero Dawn's a Sony exclusive. Ratchet and Clank's a Sony exclusive. What's that?
Is Rainbow
Days
Six?
Gone. Days Gone is a fantastic game, and that's a Sony exclusive.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
and those some of those are on PS Now, which I play on there. And
and then
I'm
a lot of the Rockstar games have a like 6 month window that are PS exclusive, like Grand Theft Auto, for instance.
Yep, and then like the new Call of Duty, actually, we have a free player weekend for the new one that's coming out in November. Because I'm a Play PlayStation user, I get to access it for free this weekend. So I get a jump start ahead of everybody else, that just to see how the gameplay is and things like that.
That's funny you said that because about the gamers versus gamers because I've always been a PlayStation guy. But I did buy I did buy a Switch recently, as you know. But then I looked at like at the price and the specs for the upcoming systems, and I'm like, okay, so I've always been a Sony guy. I have never ever bought an Xbox. I mean, I bought it for my kids. I bought my son both an Xbox and an Xbox 360. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, so I could either get a Sony PS5 for $500, or I can get a Sony PS5 just digital only for $400, or I can get a Xbox Series S for $300 and then play like probably hundreds of games on the Xbox games with gold that I've never played before.
Right.
So I mean, just I'm not saying that I'm going to get an Xbox Series S. I'm just saying that looking at the pricing stuff on the surface, if I were to buy a brand new system in the next year or so, I might actually go with Xbox, even though I've never bought an Xbox before for myself.
And that's kind of the way that I did it too. I bought an Xbox because I was a Sony PS guy forever. I mean, I was a Nintendo guy when it was Nintendo or Sega. I was a Nintendo guy. And then, eventually I did buy a Genesis, and I did buy, the Sega Dreamcast, simply because had burned myself out on Nintendo, and I was
Hmm.
like, okay, well, let's see what Sony has, or let's see what Sega has to offer. And then, then I became a PlayStation guy. Let's see what PlayStation has to offer. And then I bought a Xbox 360 only because I'd had a PlayStation for, 10 years. So I was like, okay, I want to try this new game called Halo. Uh,
Dreamcast is probably the greatest failed system of all time.
Dreamcast is still my favorite gaming system of all time. I mean, now, I mean, granted, that was what, Jesus, 97, 98. So a lot's changed in 20, 25, 23 years. But as far as the games go, it was ahead of its time. It had some insane games that to this day are still my favorite. They had a tennis game. I don't like tennis. I don't like tennis in general. I don't like playing tennis on video games. I just don't like tennis. But they had a Wimbledon tennis game on there that is still one of the funnest sports games I've ever played.
That's awesome.
And there was and there were a couple other Dreamcast exclusives that I wish I could find. I wish I could just find remastered on PlayStation or something, because I just absolutely love those games. I loved my Dreamcast. I thought it was one of the better gaming systems I've ever had. I got more hours of enjoyment out of that than I did out of any other system except for my PS4.
Yeah, I believe it. It was a fun system. I bought my brother one for Christmas one year. I played it with him a very very small amount. And for all I know, he sold it for drugs shortly after.
Well,
But I never had owned one myself. I owned a Nintendo Entertainment System. Then I owned a Sega Genesis, like you mentioned. And then I had a PlayStation. Then after I actually had a PS2, I bought a Nintendo 64 that I had for a while before I gave it to my other brother. And then I had a PS3 and a PS4 and now a Switch. So,
see, and
oh, I had
I
a, no, 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 I had a Wii. I had a Wii too.
my first system was a Atari 2600, 3600, whatever that Atari was the first one.
I forgot about the Ataris. Yeah, I definitely had an Atari too.
And then I had a regular Nintendo, and then when all my friends were going Genesis, I bought a Super Nintendo. And then they were all jealous because of Donkey Kong Country and things like that, because that kind of stuff wasn't available on Sega. And then
Well,
I
now it's available on Switch.
and then I took a few years of gaming off, so I didn't get into the N64 and all that stuff. And I came back with the Dreamcast. And then shortly after the Dreamcast, the original PlayStation came out. Like I think, want to say like a year and a half after. What, Arlo?
I'm I'm pretty sure the PlayStation 2 came out like right after the Dreamcast.
Grab a chair. Okay, where's your cup? Oh my goodness, I'm gonna lose my. I love my kid. I love him to
Well,
death.
well, they say that about kids all the time, though. They don't want your attention until you're on the phone or whatever. So,
Well, I mean, he left
and,
me
te- and, te-
alone
and
for the
technically,
most
and
part.
technically, you're on the phone.
He left me alone for the most part today while I was working. After I got done with all my meetings, during my meetings, that's a whole nother thing. Then it was, Daddy, turn this on. Daddy, turn that. Daddy, come play with me. Daddy, come do this. Then I get off my meetings, and he's content as hell to just play by himself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like they want your attention when they know somebody else is getting your attention.
I think that's it. My cat's the same way. My cat's been staring at me since I answered the phone.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But I lost my train of thought. Anyway, Dreamcast came out, and I'm always a few years behind. I just found out that the PlayStation 3 has been out, or the PlayStation 4 has been out since 2013.
Yep,
When did I get that one from you?
2 Christmases ago,
So
I think.
2018. So I was
Yeah,
a
because
good.
you were with that one chick, so
Ugh, don't remind me. So
Susan.
it. Ugh, should have just called her Karen, because she definitely is one. Um, But no, that was the first time I had a PS4, and even then, I still used my PS3 for another probably year on the side because most of my games were on that.
Hmm.
And just recently, within the last, I want to say like year and a half, they stopped doing online play and stuff like that. You can't get any online stuff on there anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, it was in 2018 when I got that because that was my birthday, 18, so end of 18, almost 19. Um, I was still playing on my PS3 online gaming. I was still purchasing games on the PlayStation Store, and I had a PS Plus account on there and everything, and it was great. And now I'm looking at they're releasing a PS5. Well, I haven't gotten everything out of my PS4 I want yet. And if they're going to give me 7 years of online gaming with just my PS4 and still do a lot of cross releases and things, I don't see myself buying a PS5 anytime soon.
No, I think the PS4 is going to be around at least another 3 or 4 years.
I
With
think
as far
longer
as
than that.
it's gonna be supported and um the the other thing that was nice when I had a when I had a PlayStation 3 and I didn't have a PS4. And I didn't know about it till like probably at least a couple of years into the PS4 existence. But the games that were available on PS Plus, I could actually sign into my PlayStation account online,
Hmm.
and I could keep the games even though I didn't have a PS4. And I didn't, but I mean, I was glad that I did know that because then when I did get a PS4, I was able to play really fun indie games like Apotheon and the Swapper. So there's a few other games I got on there that were free PS Plus games, and I'm hoping they do the same thing this time around, so that there's PS5 games that are going on PS Plus that I can just kind of put in my queue, and then eventually when I do get a PS5, I'll be able to play them.
The nice thing about like PS3, there were a couple games that I absolutely love, and I kind of digressed a little bit. I mean, I had my Dreamcast for a couple of years, then I bought the first PlayStation, then I had a PS2, and then I started hearing about this game called Halo while I had a PS2. When they released the Xbox, they said that you can retro play, the stuff from the original Xbox on the Xbox 360. So I
Hmm.
bought this 360 because of Halo. And then, I fell in love with it. I liked the way they did things. And I remember when I first got a PS3, it was about 3 years after I had an Xbox. My wife at the time just bought me one. It was a Christmas gift and everything. What are you doing this for? I don't care about this anymore. I'm playing Xbox. And I remember the first time I got a trophy, and I remember just laughing at this trophy that I got because the sound sounded like a dumbed down version of the Xbox achievement chime. And
Okay.
everything about it just seemed like it was an Xbox knockoff. And now when I compare Xbox to PlayStation with the Xbox One and the PS4, I'm like, there's no competition. It's PlayStation again, all the way for me. And I don't know how long that's going to last, if that's going to be, but I have a feeling it's going to be for a while because I'm more sold on the way that Sony kind of handles their stuff, the way that Sony kind of does their online play and the PS Now and the PlayStation Plus and all that stuff. Getting free games every single month. And this last year, it's not been cheap indie games that you never would have played, you never would have bought, but they're only like $7, but you'd never buy them, so you just download them on PS Now or on PS Plus or whatever. The last few months, they've legitimately released $60 games for free. And once you
Right.
download it, as long as you keep up your yearly $60 membership, you keep it forever. I think the NBA 2K1 or 2K2, whatever it was, the newest NBA game. They
Yeah,
actually
2K20. Yeah.
Yeah, they released it on PS Plus, what, 2 months ago? And that's still a $60 game in the store.
Yep, absolutely. And
Eh,
which brings me to my other talking point for tonight, which is this is the second month in a row where I look at the PS Plus games, and somebody on there is bitching that one of the games, one or more of the games on the PS Plus release is also on PS Now.
Oh, who cares?
Again, what the fuck do you care?
They,
If you have PS Now, you're paying like $15 a month for to play a series of, and here's the key, a series of games that rotate in and out of the service.
right.
If you have PS Plus, you're
You can
getting that
download
game.
that.
You get to keep that game as long as you're a PS Plus member. It's never going to rotate out of your collection. So so whether you play it on PS Now or you play it on PS, if you don't get a chance to play it on PS Now and you have PS Now, then you're going to get to play it on PS Plus. So I don't understand why people are bitching about that kind of thing either, because you get to keep the game as long as you're a PS Plus member. If it's PS Plus, if it's on PS Now, you're going to rotate out of there eventually. And if it's on if the games that are coming on PS Plus are not games you want to play the fucking games on PS Now. You're fucking paying for every month anyway, you assholes. Sorry.
The thing I do like about PlayStation 2 is how they like Xbox when I signed in their Microsoft Live whatever when they were actually charging you for it, you had to pay
Mhm.
monthly and it was like $15 a month.
Yeah, I remember
The
that.
thing I like about PlayStation is they give you yearly, you can purchase the subscriptions at a year. So right now, you just mentioned,
And you can also usually find them like for $20 on sale every couple of months. So
well, and that's what I was just saying. Like you said, you've got 15.99 for a PS Now monthly account. Well, I signed up for it for a year, so I'm paying like 5.99 a month.
that's
I
cool.
I can guarantee you I've played more games. I played more games in the first 2 months that at 5.99 a month, it's going to it paid for itself like 3 straight years. I don't have to play. I cannot play another game on PS Now for 3 years, and it's already been paid for out of the games that I played in that first couple of months.
And the other great thing about that is, if you're paying $5.99 a month, you start playing a game and you're like, I'm really not into this, and then you just move on to the next game. If you paid $60 to buy a brand new game, you're like, I got
Well,
to try to get
fuck.
every cent of my money out of this thing.
Yeah, I gotta play through this damn campaign, even though this game sucks, simply because I paid so much for it.
Right, exactly.
And I mean, and I like the PS Now. I like the PS Plus, and I haven't checked the new games, so I should probably do that here. But because they came
It
out today, didn't they?
they come out tomorrow morning. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's Vampire, and it is Need for Speed. Can't remember exactly what's Need for Speed, but that's the other thing is people are bitching about. Well, Need for Speed is only a 3 out of 10 game.
Who cares?
Okay,
It's
but
free.
you're getting it for
It's
free.
literally free.
And well, or if you don't want to call it free, you're then call it $4 a month.
Not even that.
And
5.99, 5.99 for two games. You're paying $2.50 for a
right.
game that you may or may not like, and if you don't like it, you just delete it.
And as far as I'm concerned, it's a racing game. So even if it's only a 3 out of 10, you're going to get some enjoyment out of it
Not me.
because it's a
I hate
racing game.
racing games. I won't
So,
even download that one. It's rare because I usually download every PS Plus game, whether I think I'll like it or not, just because it's free. It's
yeah,
free. I'll give it a shot. If I don't like it, I delete it. Not a big deal. I have
yeah.
so many
I,
other games that I've gotten from PS Plus like that I have absolutely loved that it pays for there too, PS Plus. Just on I mean, PS Plus cost me $64 a year. In the last 6 months, I've been able to download three Modern Warfare games that I absolutely loved, and I've been able to download, a few others that I've played quite a bit of, like Soma. I loved that game. That game was a lot of fun, and a couple others I can't think of off the top of my head. But there too, I've gotten enough enjoyment just out of those four games alone, the three Modern Warfare and Soma. That's paid for my PlayStation Plus account for the next 4 or 5 years.
I do just want to give you a tip as a fellow gamer that you're paying more. You're overpaying if you're paying $64 a year for your PS Plus subscription. And I can say that because I did that for years as well. But what I was saying earlier is that every so often, like every other month, maybe you can find one on Newegg that's like $40. So you're saving like $20 off of that one
I
year
I
subscription.
check it, and when it gives me the 20% off or whatever, I'll renew my subscription.
Okay,
I
perfect.
when I when I see that, I mean, I don't go on New Wave or anything like that. I just go to the PS Store, and every month when I log in for my free games, I'll check and see. And I think the last month they had a 12-month subscription for like $43 or something like that. So I renewed for another 12 years for 43 bucks, or 12 months for $43.
12 years for $43, man. Sign me up.
And the nice thing is it tax it on to what you already have. So like when I see that, I buy it. So now when my subscription is up in December, it will just auto renew or it added on the new 12 months.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure mine's up like right now in like March of 2022 or something.
Yeah, because it just keeps adding. I do the same thing
That
with
could do
PS
this too.
Plus. Whenever I see PS Plus or PS Now is on sale, I just
Khaleesi, what did you do?
buy a 12-month subscription or whatever and just add it on to whatever I have.
Sorry, my dog muted my speakers. I didn't hear everything you said, but yeah, I mean, I think I'm like sold up to like March of 2022 right now or something. So
I think I'm farther than that because I just did it. They just had one 2 months ago.
cool.
And it was my second one since I renewed last December. So I've got 2 years on top of my current subscription, which is through December of this year.
And I didn't see anybody bitching about this, but I'm sure there are people bitching about the PS Plus. Did you see the PS Plus collection that they're adding on the PS5?
No, and I didn't care because I'm not gonna buy it.
Well, if you get the PS5, then and you're a PS Plus member, you're getting like 8 games to start with, and up to 20 eventually that are just going to be yours as part of that collection. Like I think Spider Man's in there.
Which one? The one where when you complete the game, you get to see Peter Parker flying around in a mask and his underwear.
Maybe I don't know Insomnia game that came like a year and a half ago. Um,
I think that's it. Yeah.
and like I can't remember what else. I think Horizon Zero Dawn's on there, and I can't remember exactly what's on there, but there was like God of War's on there, the newest God of War game.
Which I
So
really badly want to play because
it's fan, yeah.
I played all the PS3 ones, and then I got this when I bought. because I had to upgrade my, well, I had to upgrade my PlayStation just for everyone listening. I had to upgrade my PlayStation and get a new terabyte version because I was sick of the old one. The old one wasn't working, so I gave it to my techie kid, and he fixed it. So now he got a free PlayStation 4, and I've got a new PlayStation 4. And with that, they gave me 3 games, digital downloads. All 3 expired. And one of them was the God of War. I think Horizon Dawn, Zero Dawn was one of them, and there was another one, but they were all 3 expired. So I was really disappointed, and I really want to play that God of War game.
Both of those games are outstanding. Both God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Come here.
So I would recommend both of them. Um,
I'll get to them eventually when they're on PS Now in like 3 years.
so those are kind of my talking points that I had. Did you have anything you wanted to bring up?
Not
In
really.
the,
I just kind of,
okay.
my whole thing was with how just obsessive people get. Like, in seriously, first of all, if you play multiplayer and you play against PCers, I feel so sorry for you because I hate that with a passion. PCers, all they have to do is click and aim. They don't
Hmm.
actually have to do anything. They move a mouse, they point at someone, and they click. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, that's stupid.
And
That's
it
really
annoys
stupid.
me. It annoys me. But I get why um, systems like Call of Duty want to include those people because you include them in crossplay, all of a sudden you get a better variation of people. You can get games moving a lot faster and so on. But man, does it suck playing against PCers.
Yeah, I imagine it does. I'm looking at the PS Plus collection just to see
Come here.
what other
What do you
games
want?
what are going to be on that list because it is a nice perk. I mean, you're paying $500 for a game system plus
What do you want?
tax. Then you go to buy a second controller, you're
What do you
paying like
want?
$75 for that, and each game's gonna be like $75. So I do think it's a nice. I do think
You
it's
want
nice
cereal?
that Sony's offering these backwards compatible. It's nice that Sony's offering these backwards compatible games for people to. I mean, you might not have heard anything I said because I think my dog pushed my headset up, but um, I was saying that I'm looking at the Plus collection right now just because I think it is a good perk for people that buy a
Say hi to
PS5
Shaving.
because it is like a really expensive system, and the games are going to be really expensive, and so are the controllers. So I
Right.
think giving them if you have like 8 games you can play like right off the bat just buying the system, that's a really nice thing for a new system owner. You know.
One thing that I am thankful for is when I bought my PlayStation 2, it was $399.
Yep.
When I bought my new PlayStation 4, it was $399.
Yep.
I could buy a PlayStation 5 right now, and I'm okay with not having a disc because I don't use disc games. Everything I buy is basically a digital download. Just because I know I can pretty much have it forever, or at least for the length of that system. I mean, once I leave a system, I don't really ever go back to it, so I'm okay with not having the disc to play. But but still, here comes PS5. I can get it for $399. So we're talking 30 years. Well, yeah, roughly 30 years of technology, and I'm still getting it for $399.
I am very leery of the idea of these game systems coming out without a disk drive. Not because I buy a ton of games on disk, but because I want the option to be able to do so. Because often you can find games on DVD on the disc for like $10 less than you can the games digitally. Also I like the option of having to have that Blu-ray player to use, so I don't have to buy a separate Blu-ray player to watch my DVDs and Blu-ray discs that I have.
See, the problem
You
is
know.
I don't have Blu-rays or DVDs either. That's all digital.
So,
The
well,
movies
and,
I
my,
have
and
are all
most of my stuff
digital.
has become that way too. But I'm just saying that if I do have one, I have nothing to watch it on then. Um,
Yeah.
so here's the games that are on the PS Plus collection, and it's a really great variety and also just a great list of games. So you got Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Bloodborne, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, God of War, Infamous Second Son, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat 10, Persona 5, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. And Jeff, if you've not played this last game I'm about to mention, You'd fucking love it. Until Dawn.
Oh, I played it.
Yeah.
The nice thing is, I think half of those have been on PS Plus over the last year. So a lot of those I already have. I think there were another three or four you mentioned were last year's.
Oh,
So I mean, but it's cool that I mean, if you're one of those gamers like I was, where I took a year off of, a few years off of Xbox and then came back,
hmm
or just decided one time, hey, I'm gonna try an Xbox. If you're one of those on the opposite side where you're like, oh, I'm an Xbox guy, but hey, you know what? I haven't played a PlayStation in a while. Let me see what they got. That's good for you guys. Great for people buying it that have never bought it, never used PS Plus before, or never anything like that. You're getting
hmm
some damn good games. I mean, right there alone, that pays for your PS Plus subscription for probably 3 or 4 years.
Well, it practically actually pays for a PS5, like half your PS5 too.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's good. That's a good $300 value, 250, 300 at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, and these, and I listed out those games, but I mean just
Was
from my
that
own
sour?
personal what's that?
Arnold was eating sweet tarts, and
Yeah.
he got a tart. The face he made was priceless.
I mean just from like, reviews and my own personal experience, like Days Gone, God of War, The Last of Us remastered, and Uncharted 4, Thief's End, and Until Dawn are all like 5-star games. So,
Man, I could
just
not get into
just and
Last of Us.
I I thought you said you did a little bit, but then you kind of got
No,
old for you after a while.
I played for the first two chapters, and it was just like, oh, I'm not in the mood for another boring zombie game. It felt too much like Resident Evil, or not like yeah, like Resident Evil. Too
Well, maybe
much
you wouldn't
like
like
that.
Days. I wonder if you wouldn't like Days Gone then too. I don't
Nah,
know.
yeah, I haven't. I don't think I played that one either. But it reminded me too much of Resident Evil, and more like kind of a cross between Resident Evil and Silent Hill. I remember the first time I played Silent Hill on PlayStation 2. I had and this is gonna bring you back a bit, but a GameFly account.
I had one of those too.
Yeah, where you could spend like $20 a month and you get two games a month and you can play it for as long as you want and then return it whenever.
Yep,
Kind of the way Netflix used to be. Oh God, remember Netflix by mail?
I do.
Wow, man, I'm
Yeah,
old.
and actually, I think at one point I was a member of Netflix, Blockbuster, whatever that service was called, and then uh and then GameFly. So I had like those three
Yep,
monthly
I did too.
subscriptions.
I paid $60 and we had DVDs all the time and I had games for downstairs. I played so many games because of that. But and I busted my ass because I was paying $20 a month for it. So I wanted to make sure I got those games back and didn't keep them for longer than a month. But it was nice when a game sucked, you just sent it back. They sent you the next one. But that was where I played Silent Hill on it. And I remember playing that first Silent Hill, and I'm not kidding you. I started playing that game at noon on a Saturday. Had day off. My wife and kid were out of town. So I sat down. I want to play Silent Hill. I love this game. And I played that game until 8 p.m. walking around this town in Sleepy Hollow or Silent Hill and didn't see a single fucking thing until 8 p.m. 8 hours into the game before I got my first zombie or whatever
That's
they were in that game.
hilarious.
I was so pissed. I literally I threw that in the mail the next day. Never touched another Silent Hill game. Just annoying. I'm not kidding you. I walked around that town for 8 solid hours.
I would say Days Gone is not like that. It's more. Are you a fan of Red Dead Redemption?
Yes and no. I didn't like the first one because I felt more like I was watching a movie and then playing for a couple seconds and then watching more of a movie and playing for a couple more seconds.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It was like and there too, that was another one. I'd never got more than maybe three or four chapters in. And it was frustrating because I'd watch them ride in a train and they ride a train. And then I get off the train, I walk into a saloon, I grab a gun, and then I watch another 5 minute cutscene. And then I ride a horse and watch another 5 minute cutscene. and then I get shot by somebody, and then watch another 15-minute cutscene.
I think you're severely overstating the cutscenes in
No,
Red Dead.
but it just felt like that. Like I was, it felt a lot like, and maybe it's just my gaming personality and the way it's changed over the years. Like the game Heavy Rain, I loved that on PS3. That was one of my favorite games of all time because it was literally like you were playing a movie. You would watch a cutscene, then you have to do a little bit, and then you watch a cutscene, you have to do a little bit more. But that's kind of the same feeling I got from Red Dead Redemption, but I'm out of that style of gaming. I'm more into the fast-paced multiplayer, first-person shooter type games now.
Yeah, you are. The reason I asked that is because Days Gone has a lot of the same mechanics as like Red Dead Redemption does. Like it's just that you're instead of
Sorry,
you're
sorry,
but
you
you're
get
like
another tart.
but you know I mean you're like facing bandits and you're facing zombies and you're driving a bike around instead of obviously riding a horse around. But I mean a lot of it's it feels a lot the same to me. But I really loved both those games. So I guess we're different types of gamers in
I
that way. So
Well, and I still can find myself back into those style of that style of gaming, but I've become more of a fast pace. I like the action involved in it. You know, I like the multiplayer aspect. Like even Arkham Knight, I had a hard time really getting into more than the first. There came. You don't want any more? I don't blame you after that last look. Oh my God, that was the greatest thing ever. I got to Next time you eat sweet tarts, I'm recording that. He almost shook himself off the couch with how sour that last one was.
wow. Um,
But anyway,
y-
I was
yeah,
saying,
yeah, and I'm the opposite. Like I can't stand those kind of games because like I said, like I told you before, like I always feel like I'm just not good enough at them, and there's no learning curve I can do that's going to get me good enough at them just because they're
everybody you play against is so fucking good.
they're so good and they've been playing for such a long time. Yeah, I
Right.
mean those are games I think those games in particular I think you do have to play like right when they first come out, otherwise you're going to get left behind.
Well, the problem is when this, like Call of Duty, when it first came out, when if you wanted to be really good at it now, you had to start playing in 2009 when Modern Warfare 2 came out. And if you took any time off during that, you're way behind the curve. I mean, to the point where now there's like professional players and leagues where they play for $100,000, like $1 million and things like that. It's insanity the way that this game has become from when I first started playing in 2009, and I'm one of those people that took some years off. You know,
Right.
I played in 2009, then probably till about 2011, then I didn't play again until earlier this year, like March of this year. So I'm coming into this now, this where before when I used to play, I was pretty damn good. Now I'm just garbage, just flat out garbage. So I've had to adapt what I feel is important in it in order to continue enjoying the game. So for me now, the importance is not a high kill death and winning. You know, I like winning the games. I like doing the objective and winning the games, but I don't need to be the top scoring player because I know most of it's based on kills. And I'm not going to go out there and drop 30 kills. I'm going to be more like that guy that's 9, 7, 8, 9 kills a game. Um, but I enjoy it because I've adapted to my part is going after achievements and objectives and things like that instead of just kill death like it used to be 12, 13 years ago, 11 years ago.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, I would be right there too. I would hate the shit out of the game. Like if I was somebody coming in now and I've never played Call of Duty before and I'm just like, oh, let's pick up this game. And I heard it's like Rainbow Six. No, it's not. Um, I would be frustrated to no end too. But I've just gotten to a point where like my gaming with the kids and my job and things I need to get done in my personal life, my gaming life has become more of a I got an hour to kill. I'm gonna jump on and play. So these long, drawn-out storylines like a Red Dead Redemption, like a, Soma even was kind of a struggle because that was more of a long, drawn-out campaign that's going to take me, you know, months to finish the campaign. I have a hard time when I get into a game jumping out of it. So if I'm just going to be able to play for an hour, I want to play something that's fast paced and I can get out of and not feel like I'm giving up something. So
Yeah.
that's why that style of game, why sports games are really good for me too, is because it helps with my ADD. I can focus on something for an hour. I can try and knock off a couple achievements and feel satisfied and get out. Where if I'm playing Mario, I'm playing Mario all goddamn day, because I'm not giving that shit up until I beat it.
Sure.
Just
I get
because
it.
it's the way that the storyline works, it's the way that the chapters work, and the way that the game itself works. Like certain games, you got to be they're puzzles, they're things that you got to do, and you have to invest yourself. And I just don't have the time to do it or the ability to walk away from it.
Yeah,
I
it probably make my life easier if I could enjoy those games, because I do get in these things where like I'm playing forever because I just, even if I
right,
set like a timer, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just put more time on the timer.
yeah,
It's just gonna,
right, exactly. I'll just
because I
oh
just
wait,
try to beat these levels, or like you said, trying to solve these puzzles and just keep going and going and going and going.
like the new Laura Croft was the worst for me because I played it and I loved it, and I'd be like, okay, I got to play for an hour, then I got to get something done. Next thing I know, it's like 7 hours later on a Saturday. I'm looking around my house going, fuck, I didn't get shit done today. So I had to stop playing those kinds of games because I can turn on Call of Duty. I can run through an hour, hour and a half worth of matches and be just livid because I suck so much, but feel accomplished because I achieved this and this and this. So I'm like, all right, I can shut it down now and I can go out and do something.
Yeah,
That's the
and
trouble with ADD.
yeah, and I totally see where you're coming from with that. It's just not something I think that I could really just do. I mean,
No, I get that.
I've tried to, and I do try to like limit and set timers and things like that. But I just sometimes I just blow through them, and sometimes I'll be like with my wife, like, "Oh, do you want me to shut this off?" No, you can keep playing. You're okay. So
Yeah, then it's like, okay, another 2 hours. You said it was okay, honey. It's not my fault. I've been there. Definitely been there. All right.
all
Well,
right.
anything else?
No,
What
I
are
think
we
we covered
talking
even
about?
more than I thought we were gonna
What
cover.
are we talking about tomorrow? Please don't say
Probably.
pure. Please don't say pure. Please don't say pure.
Uh, you mean besides the pure title tournament?
Damn
Just
me. I just didn't get a chance this weekend. I was trying to wrap up some stuff before because it was so cold out. So I'm trying to tear out like shelves out of my basement, get insulation up, and wash my cars for a final time and all that stuff. I didn't get any watch this weekend like I wanted to.
I'm way behind. I'm way behind on the pure title tournament myself. No, I was thinking we would talk about um,
More G1.
probably G1 and probably last week's Dynamite
Oh my God, has
um,
G1 been amazing?
I'm still a bit behind, but I watched through like the sixth episode now,
This time I'm
and
gonna try not to upset the future episodes, but if you're through six, we got a lot to talk about.
and if you saw if we have both have a chance to watch Takeover, we could talk about that too. So
I um I saw what I wanted to. I saw the final match. The rest of it, I I don't know. Like Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, I think would have appealed to me if Io was still the heel and Candice was still the face. I don't like the role reversal. I'm not buying into the Johnny Gargano heel turn, no matter how good he is. So his little match against Damian Priest just didn't
I think I
ring.
lost you. Are you still there?
I'm still here, yeah. You hear me? Oh, sadness. Well, I am still here. But can you hear me yet?
Jeff, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Ah, anyway, I guess we're talking about that tomorrow. One of us is still alive, so I'm gonna go ahead and give the.
Man, my dog my other dog this time muted my audio.
Okay,
So
so you're back.
I'm back.
Okay, so
Yeah,
what I was saying is, um, there's certain things about NXT that has gotten me to a main roster feel, to where I don't care. No matter how much I loved these people before, I don't care now.
sure.
The Gargano Candice LeRae heel turn. Don't care. Don't give a shit. Could care three shits in a shake glass. I don't care. I just I don't think it's been done well. And I get it. I was preaching, praying, preaching as high as I could that Johnny Gargano needed a heel turn. He needed something different. Now that I've seen the way they've done his heel turn, I don't like it. Mainly because he's not a heel. He's still Johnny Gargano. He's still the best wrestler in the company. He's still the that heart of a champion type thing. But now instead of it being a heart, he just says, "Oh, I got a lot of soul." They didn't change Johnny Gargano to a heel. They changed him to an arrogant do-gooder, which annoys me. So as much as I want to, as much as I love Damian Priest when he first came in, love the whole Punishment Martinez and ROH, don't care at all about him versus Gargano. Io Shirai as a heel, amazing. Candice LeRae as a face, amazing. Those roles reversed, and I don't like it. Um, so the only match on that entire night that I really cared that much about was, and I saw this spelt out today, KOR. And the first thing I thought of was Ring of Honor. In fact, I read his name and I thought King of Wrestling Ring of Honor when I saw it announced as a as KOR, the Kings of Wrestling is what I thought of.
Oh, okay.
So immediately then I took a step back going, wait a minute, they didn't face Finn Balor, and I had to read it again. But um, Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor is the only match on the night I cared about, the only match I was willing to go back and watch, and I am so glad I did.
They're really calling Kyle O'Reilly KOR.
KOR, yeah, KOR. In every news report, every breakdown, everything I've seen of him, he's been called KOR.
That
Not
is so odd.
Yeah, it's just no. Hey, no, does not go in your mouth. I don't care. It's a Lego. It doesn't go in your mouth. You bring it here and I'll take it apart. Sorry.
That's okay. I just think that's weird. But
Yeah, it really is maddening to me too. It doesn't make sense to me.
well, I'm probably going to try to watch more than you did. But I do think I'll be able to finish it before our show tomorrow night because I probably can watch a couple hours tonight and then maybe the last hour tomorrow night or however long it is.
One thing I do want to talk about tomorrow, and maybe you can remind me in case I forget, because oh my God, just looked at my computer and saw all the emails I have. But so remind me, I want to talk about this whole everybody getting geeked about Halloween Havoc coming back and how I'm so sick of the nostalgia in WWF. And at this point, Halloween Havoc coming back is just another WWF or WWE nostalgia thing.
I didn't even know Halloween Havoc was coming back.
Yep, that's the next NXT takeover is now called Halloween Havoc.
And if you had told me that Halloween Havoc was coming back 10 years ago, I would have been excited.
I wouldn't have cared then either because Halloween Havoc was WCW and it was dead. It
Yeah, but
just,
so was War Games.
but War Games was unique. War Games was centered around a specific match, and getting that War Games match back is really freaking cool. What was Halloween Havoc? It was just name. It was literally a Slim Jim promotion for the first 5 years of it.
Well, if you ask Eric Bischoff, it was their number one pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah, because he was a Halloween guy. But this is something we can talk about tomorrow. That's why I kind of want you to bring it up tomorrow. But for me, it's not like it's like when they brought back the Great American Bash. There was no signature match that was with the Great American Bash, so it didn't really matter. It was just name pay-per-view. But if in 30 years, when WWE goes under because of all their new things that they're doing, um, and we look back and somebody brings back the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, I'm in. Somebody brings back the TLC, I'm in. Somebody brings back WrestleMania, it's like, eh, because there's no signature match that makes it anything bigger than a normal pay-per-view, except for the fact they do their retro stuff and stuff that can be done on any pay-per-view. But like War Games was special because it was War Games. There was a specific match. What was the other one that had the three ring battle royal?
World War Three.
They bring that back. It means something because it's got a gimmick match focus there. Elimination Chamber,
It was a
TLC.
terrible goddamn.
No, it was a horrible match, but if they were to bring it back, I'd be a whole hell of a lot more excited than I would be about Great American Bash coming back. Do you know what I mean? Because Great American Bash is just a name.
I
I,
know. I actually I wanted to get. I do want to dig a little bit tomorrow night that you mentioned it, just because it is the psychology of it is fascinating to me. Just because NWA and WCW were your top promotion, and for you not to care about their pay per views, I think is a bit odd.
because
So
it's just a name. I love, certain pay-per-views and love the idea of them coming back. But when you're just bringing back a name, it's like running Shawn Michaels out there to get kicked in the face by Randy Orton. It's just running another nostalgia act. It's all it is. When you bring back certain things like Halloween Havoc, all you're doing is bringing back the name of a pay-per-view. There was never one signature match that was specifically designed to Halloween Havoc. Literally every match on Halloween Havoc could have happened on any pay-per-view. It was just the fact it was done.
that's actually not true. The first, I mean, WWE has done their own version of this match already. So I mean, you can't, I guess, say that it's synonymous with Halloween Havoc. But for the first two Halloween Havocs, they did have the spin the wheel make the deal match.
Okay, yeah, you're right there. If they'd bring that back, I'd be a little more in.
Yeah, but
But
WWE.
even WCW didn't hold on to that match. That's the
Oh, but
problem.
what did WWE call it? Like they did that Vegas like wheel thing.
Uh,
What did they call it?
that was their no, they did the Night of Champions where they let the people vote.
No, WWE's done like that Vegas
Or
roulette
no,
wheel thing for matches too. And I'm trying to remember what Eric Bischoff called it when they did that a few
I don't know.
times.
MLW did it too with the whole Jimmy Havoc gimmick too.
Okay, fair enough.
So I mean, it's been done before, but if they were to bring back something like that and make that exclusive to Halloween Havoc, and that never happened anywhere outside of Halloween Havoc, and we had to wait a whole year to see that kind of match again, I'd be a little more excited about it.
Well, I have to admit though, along those same lines that we should do the show tomorrow night. But the I've never seen any. The only coal miners love match I've ever seen was on Halloween Havoc.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna stop this conversation now because we're gonna end up we're gonna end up going another hour, and this is great content for our show tomorrow night when wrestling is supposed to be talked about.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
All right, guys. Check us out on our Patreon. You know the link, patreon.com/Kingdom of Honor. You're listening to this, give it a like, and give it a comment, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and all that jazz. And of course, our Patreon, our Twitters. I'm at Regi Co-op. He's at Zanman LOP. Love you all. Good night and goodbye.
Adios, everyone.